Welcome along to ArsenalFanTV, brought to you today in association with OneFootball, the excellent football app. Get onto that app. On this show, we're going to be doing our starting 11. Don't forget, before the game, you can get onto that app and it gives you the starting 11 in advance of the game. So it's a really, really good app. Lots of information on Arsenal. So make sure you check it out. The OneFootball app description is below if you want to get involved in that. So listen, let's get into the starting 11 for our game against A.F.C. Köln in the Europa League. Oh my God, Europa League. Thursday nights, man. This is what it's come to. But listen, we can't be too snobbish about this thing. Listen, this is the first time in 20 years that we've been not in the Champions League. It has been hard for me watching, other teams playing in the Champions League and knowing that we're not in it. But this is what we're in. It's what we're in. We've got to go for it, right? So I'm going to give you my team. Now, obviously, I feel that this is an opportunity to play a lot of players that wouldn't normally get a game, week in, week out in the Premier League. That's my feeling on it. So I want to have a little bit of a mix of experienced players and also younger players. And we've got a good enough squad. When I really look at our squad, we've got a good enough squad to really put out a strong team in this competition. And even with youngsters in it, and really do some damage. And then, if we get further into it, later on, we can bring in the more senior players. A bit like what Man United did last year when they won it, a bit like what Liverpool did when they got to the final. So let's check out my team. And you'll see what I mean about the strength of what we can play. Now, in goal, Ospina. Right, now don't forget, actually I should write on the top here, Arsenal versus A.F.C. Köln. You can put the little dots up there. Ospina in goal. Now don't forget, Ospina played in goal in the Champions League games last season. So he's a really experienced goalkeeper, Colombian international, top goalkeeper. We're very lucky that we've got two top goalkeepers. So Ospina. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not going for this three at the back thing. I'm going four at the back. I'm sorry if you haven't got the personnel to play those positions. For me, play what suits the players. And when I look at the squad, I don't fancy, say, for instance, someone like Walcott as a wing back. He's just defensively not going to get back. So I've gone for more of a 4-3-3 system. So take a look at it. Youngster at the back, going Maitland-Niles. All right. He played in a lot of the friendlies at the start of the season. To be honest, in a couple of those games, he had a bit of a hard time. I watched him out in Australia, watched him in China. He had a bit of a rough time in a couple of those games. But I think this is an opportunity for him to really learn his game. Listen, a big opportunity for a lot of these youngsters. If you look at Tottenham Hotspur, that is how they got the emergence of Harry Kane, was by playing him in the Europa League. He did really, really well in that. And after that, they were able to put him in the first team, and the rest is history. So, opportunity for these young guys. So, Maitland-Niles there. Then I'm going to put in Callum Chambers, right? Because we ain't even seen this guy. We've kept him. He did well at Middlesbrough last season, and we ain't even seen him play. Time to throw him into the team. Next team, I've gone for some experience. I'm putting in Per Mertesacker. Put BFG there, you know what I'm talking about. Right, so Per Mertesacker, not Rob Holding. And I know a lot of you will probably have Rob Holding in your team. Holding's played a couple of games this season. Holding can come in off the bench for me, but I want to see what Chambers has got. Because to me, if you look at the two players, Chambers should be the better one. Chambers is the one that starts in the England under-21s, not Holding. Chambers played literally the whole season last year at Middlesbrough and did really well. So I want to see what he's like. He could be a guy that could, if he plays really well, go right into the first team. So Chambers in there, BFG, and then I'm going to put Monreal in here at left back. Again, a bit more experience. All right, this is my team, remember. I don't know if Wenger will go for this, but this is my team. That is a pretty strong and experienced back four. All right, you've got a couple of youngsters in there, but a lot of experience in there, right? Mohamed El Neni is going to be my guy sitting. Of course, there's an injury, as we know, injuries we know to Francis Coquelin, so he's not going to be able to figure in the game. So I've gone for El Neni there in that sort of sitting position. He does that really well, screening right across that back four. And then I'm going to put Alex Iwobi in here. It is more of a free across here, but Alex Iwobi in here, very creative player. You know, I think working in this area here, he'll get forward, he'll take on players. Very good player, very underestimated player. I think he's going to be a top player. Then Jack Wilshere. Let's throw him in. Let's give him a start. He's going to be hungry. He's going to want to prove himself. He's going to want to show us what he can do. Jack Wilshere, this is the game for him. If he's not performing or if he's not looking fit, we can take him off. But for me, start Wilshere in this game. I think fans will be excited to see Jack Wilshere as well. And I think it would be an excellent platform for him to, you know, feature in this game. Then my front three, Theo Walcott on the right. Hasn't really figured much this season, but listen, he's an experienced player, a player more than capable of scoring goals, a player more than capable of troubling the A.F.C. Cologne's defence, which remember, Cologne, they lost 3 games already this season. They're there for the taking. On the other side, I'm going to go for Reiss Nelson, right, on the left-hand side. Been looking really, really good playing in the under-23s, look really, really good pre-season. It's time to throw this guy in, possibly even into the first team. But here's where we get to look at, you know, take a really good look at him and see what he's really made of. If he can do it in this competition, then he can just come into the first team. If he can really, you know, replicate the performances, what he's been doing in the under-23s and what he did in the friendlies pre-season, we could be on to a really top player. I think he's going to be a top player, but let's see him right from the start. I did think about throwing in Alexis from the start, because, you know, he hasn't had a lot of game time, Alexis. Probably still not 100% fit. But I thought to myself, I want Alexis in the squad, but on the bench. And at some stage, he can come on for Nelson, say, or even maybe for Walcott, and just maybe just come on and get some, you know, game time match fitness ahead of that Chelsea game at the weekend. But let's start with Reiss Nelson. And right up front, Olivier Giroud. Got to start here. I wouldn't play Lacazette. I'd play Giroud up front. Giroud, you know, get him game time as well. He hasn't started the game so far this season. It's been Lacazette. So, you know, get him that game time. Get him playing up front. And that is a very strong team. Remember, look how many players it's missing. It's missing, like, you know, Alexis. It's missing Lacazette. It's missing Welbeck, you know. And it's still a very, very strong team. No Ozil. So that team, I feel, is strong enough. You've got guys like Holding that you can bring off of the bench. So I like the look of that team. As I said, I prefer a 4 across the back. And for me, that is a good enough team to go out there and sort out FC Cologne. And that is a good enough team to play in this competition and progress as well with the teams that we've got coming up. What do you guys think? Of course, leave it in the comments. Give me your starting 11. I know that my starting 11 will probably get ripped to shreds by some people. I noticed that last week a lot of people agreed with my starting 11 for that game. And if you actually saw the team that played, it was more or less the starting 11 that I went with in that game last week. So what do you think of that starting 11? Do you think that's good enough to beat FC Cologne? We're really using our squad here, and I think